Chosen one, this is not a coincidence. You were led here by divine appointment, in the exact Kairos moment God designed for you. Heaven has marked this hour, and as you hear these words, something in your spirit is awakening. You are standing at the threshold of a supernatural transfer, a shift so profound that no human hand can stop it. The tables are turning. The same eyes that once overlooked you are now fixed on you. The same voices that doubted you are whispering your name in wonder. But this is not about them. This is about you stepping into the realm God has prepared, where hidden favor becomes visible and divine wealth begins to flow. Deuteronomy 8:18 declares, "It is he who gives you power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant." That power is stirring inside you right now. This moment is a spiritual crossing from obscurity to influence, from lack to overflow, from waiting to walking in the promise. Anointed one, open your heart. Expect the supernatural, because heaven has already decided your season has shifted. The transfer has begun. Chosen one, let's go back for a moment, not to reopen wounds, but to reveal how heaven has been weaving your story with precision. Remember the seasons when no one believed in you, when doors seemed sealed and your name carried no weight in their rooms, when you gave your all only to be overlooked, dismissed, or betrayed. Those nights you cried silently weren't wasted tears. They were seeds. Seeds heaven buried deep in the soil of obscurity, knowing that in the appointed season they would break through and bloom where no one expected. Those hidden years were your training ground. While they judged you from the outside, God was refining you on the inside. You were not forgotten, anointed one. You were being forged. Heaven sharpened your character in silence, so that when your moment of revealing came, it would be undeniable. And now, the same eyes that once rolled in mockery are fixed on you with wonder they can't explain. They don't just remember you, they can't stop remembering you. It's as if heaven has placed your story on repeat in their minds. Why? Because your rise isn't natural, it's prophetic, it's supernatural. It's the kind of turnaround that can't be explained by strategy alone. Chosen one, what they're witnessing is divine timing at work. When man said, "It's over," God whispered, "I'm just beginning." Their obsession is not just curiosity, it's spiritual evidence. Evidence that heaven has flipped the script. You are walking in the kind of glow that can't be manufactured. It's imparted, and deep down, they know it. I've walked through that valley myself. I remember when I had nothing, no resources, no recognition, no safety net. I remember sitting in rooms where my voice didn't matter, where my ideas were ignored, where I was the last name they'd call. And I remember crying in silence, not knowing that those nights were heaven's classroom. The same hands that felt empty then are now carrying blessings I couldn't have earned on my own. What changed? Divine timing collided with divine preparation, and that's exactly what's happening to you. The world calls it luck, but chosen ones know better. This is alignment. This is what happens when the secret battles you fought in the dark meet the light of appointed time. You've become a living mystery to those who doubted you, because every time they think they've figured you out, heaven writes another chapter they didn't see coming. Chosen one, understand this. Their whispers are the sound of a system breaking. Their stares are the signposts of a shift. Their questions, "How did you do it?" are not just envy. They are prophetic confirmations that the tables have turned. Do not shrink under their gaze. You're not here to explain the blessing. You're here to embody it. You are not a riddle to solve. You are a testimony unfolding. Stand firm. Because this is only the beginning of the divine transfer heaven has set in motion over your life. Chosen one, let me speak this clearly into your spirit. Their fixation is not about you personally. It's about what heaven did through you. You became the living contradiction to everything they believed about power, promotion, and purpose. While they followed man's blueprint, you followed divine instruction. While they sought approval from gatekeepers, you listened to the quiet whispers of the Spirit. And now, every step you take is unsettling systems that were never built for you to win. For years, they clung to their rules like lifelines. Play it safe, wait your turn, don't shine too bright, don't move without permission. They marched in line, thinking obedience to a broken system would earn them favor. But heaven never called you to blend in it, anointed you to break out. When they tried to confine you to their boxes, God whispered strategies that didn't exist on their map. And when you followed His voice instead of their commands, the chains they called guidance shattered. Anointed one. That was the moment everything shifted. You didn't climb their ladder. You built your own path through mountains they called immovable. And that, more than anything, is why they can't look away. Your rise isn't just success to them, it's exposure. It reveals that the rules they swore were unbreakable were only illusion. I remember a time when I was surrounded by people who lived by those same scripts. They believed influence came from pleasing the right people, staying quiet, never questioning the order. I tried to fit in, to follow their steps, but something in me resisted. Late at night, I'd feel a stirring, a sense that heaven had written a different path for me. When I finally obeyed that prompting, doors opened that logic couldn't explain. Opportunities came from places no one thought to look. And just like that, everything I had once tried to earn through people was handed to me by God. Chosen one, that's exactly what's happening with you. Their obsession is born from the fact that you didn't play their game, and yet you still won. You didn't wait for their permission, and yet heaven still promoted you. You didn't follow their pattern, and yet the glory rests on you. That's why they talk, why they watch, why they can't stop circling around your name like moths around a flame they can't touch. Understand this, you are not here to fit their mold. You were born to redefine the atmosphere. The divine strategy over your life isn't something they can decode, because it was written in heaven long before they ever formed opinions about you. Every time you move in obedience, you remind them that their throne isn't real. Their power only worked on those who bowed, and you refused to kneel. This is the sacred irony of your story. Their obsession is proof that heaven bypassed their systems to bless you. And when God promotes someone outside their structure, it exposes their dependence on control. That's why they're restless. That's why your name lingers in their conversations. Chosen one, don't explain, don't defend, just keep walking. Heaven's strategy doesn't require their understanding, only your obedience. And as you keep moving forward, their gaze will only intensify, not because you sought their attention, but because your life became the evidence of divine disruption. Chosen one, let's speak plainly. Your rise didn't just surprise them, it shattered their expectations. They built entire narratives around your supposed limits. In their minds, you were the underdog, the background character, the one who'd never escaped the shadows. They laughed, whispered, bet against you, as if your story was already written. But what they didn't account for was divine authorship. Heaven was writing a plot twist. While they watched from the sidelines, convinced you'd stay small, God was lifting you beyond the reach of their predictions. Every step forward became a mirror, reflecting their own unbelief. It's not just that you succeeded, it's that you did it without their validation. And that, chosen one, is what cuts them the deepest. Imagine a racetrack filled with spectators who placed all their bets against one quiet runner at the back. They mocked, they scoffed, they were sure of the outcome. But the moment the race began, that quiet runner surged ahead with a strength they couldn't measure. By the time you crossed the finish line, their laughter had turned into disbelief, their certainty into silence. That's exactly what happened when you stepped into your appointed season. I've lived this. There were moments in my life when I was written off completely. People looked at my circumstances and decided my story was finished. They saw lack, delay, failure, but God saw foundation. I remember one specific moment when someone I trusted said to my face, "People like you don't make it." I smiled, but inside I carried that sentence like a prophecy to disprove. And years later, when doors began opening that even I couldn't explain, their silence spoke louder than any apology. That's the power of divine reversal. Anointed one, hear me clearly. Their doubt was never your ceiling, it was heaven's stage. God used their unbelief as the backdrop against which His glory could shine brighter through you. Every milestone you've reached, every obstacle you've overcome, is heaven answering their disbelief without you saying a word. This is why they study you now. They replay your steps like detectives searching for clues in a mystery they were never meant to solve. They try to dissect your progress, looking for shortcuts, explanations, formulas, but what they don't understand is that favor cannot be reverse engineered. Divine timing cannot be hacked. What rests on your life isn't learned behavior, it's imparted authority. Chosen one, their obsession is really their fear wearing a disguise, because to admit your success is to admit their blindness. To acknowledge your rise is to confront their own lack of discernment. And that's a truth too heavy for pride to carry. So stand tall. Their doubt was fuel. Their underestimation became the wind beneath your wings. Every time they said, "Never," heaven heard, "Watch this." Every time they turned away, heaven turned toward you. And now, every victory you walk in is echoing back into the spaces where they once dismissed you. This is why the atmosphere has shifted around you. You've become the living headline of their miscalculation. Your journey is no longer just yours. It's a divine announcement. You are proof that when heaven says rise, no human narrative can hold you down. Chosen one, hold this truth. You don't need their applause. Their silence is already your confirmation. Chosen one, let this truth settle deep in your spirit. The moment you stopped seeking their approval was the moment their power broke. They always thought they were the gatekeepers. In their world, success flowed through their permission. They believed that if you didn't bow, you'd never rise, but heaven had already written your ascension outside their gates. When you stopped asking for validation, you shattered their illusion. That's why their obsession runs so deep. You didn't just walk through their doors, you built your own palace beside their fortress. You didn't play by their rules, you lived by divine instruction. And that single act exposed how fragile their thrones really were. I'll never forget a moment in my own journey. I had spent years waiting for certain people to acknowledge me, to let me in. I thought their approval would be my acceleration. But one day, in prayer, I heard a still small voice say, "You've been waiting for them to open a door I never asked you to walk through." That day, something shifted. I stopped knocking, and I started building. And not long after, doors began to swing open, not theirs, but heaven's. Opportunities came from places I didn't even know existed. That's the moment I understood. Man's permission is irrelevant when heaven has already signed off on your destiny. Anointed one, this is exactly where you stand. Their throne only existed as long as you believed in its power. The moment you refused to kneel, the crown slipped from their heads. That's why they whisper in the dark. That's why they analyze your every step. Because your refusal to bow didn't just set you free, it exposed their control as nothing more than smoke and mirrors. Imagine a self-proclaimed king, sitting proudly on his throne, convinced the world revolves around his nod. People line up to bow, to seek his favor, to earn his blessing. But then someone new walks right past, head held high, and builds an empire on your own terms. Suddenly, his throne looks smaller, his crown looks plastic. His authority crumbles in the face of someone who never needed it. Chosen one, this is spiritual. The systems they built to contain you were never meant to hold a vessel of glory. You were never meant to be a subject in their kingdom. You were destined to be a king under the king. And when heaven elevates you, no earthly gatekeeper can claim credit. That's what burns them the most. They can't take credit, they can't rewrite the narrative, and they can't ignore your impact. Your very existence now confronts their illusion of power. They ask themselves, how did they do it without us? But the answer is simple: heaven, divine backing. Anointing that doesn't need signatures from men. That's why your story is unstoppable. Chosen one, hear me well. You don't owe anyone your submission to a system heaven has already overruled. Keep walking boldly. Keep moving with quiet authority. Every step you take is a reminder that thrones built on ego will always collapse in the presence of divine elevation. Chosen one, when heaven begins to elevate you, something supernatural happens. Your very presence becomes a mirror. You don't have to expose anyone. You don't have to fight with them. Simply by walking in authenticity, you shine a light that reveals everything false around you. That's why they stare. That's why they whisper. That's why they can't look away. For years, they built their identity like stage scenery, beautiful on the outside, hollow behind the curtain. They wore masks molded by culture, by fear, by the opinions of others. They rehearsed their lines so well that even they began to believe the performance. But then, chosen one, you walked in maskless, unapologetically real, carrying the fragrance of authenticity, and their entire stage began to crack under the weight of truth. You didn't confront them with words, you confronted them by existing. The anointing on your life is like a divine spotlight. Wherever you go, the false begins to tremble. Pretenders feel exposed. Insecure hearts feel unsettled, and those who built their worth on lies start to panic. Because your presence doesn't flatter, it reflects. I remember walking into rooms where I used to shrink back, afraid to be too much. But there came a time when I decided I would no longer dim my light to make others comfortable. And the moment I stood in the fullness of who God made me to be, something shifted in those rooms. Masks began to slip, conversations changed. People who were once loud grew quiet, uneasy. It wasn't arrogance, it was authenticity. And authenticity always disrupts the counterfeit. Anointed one, that's exactly what's happening in your life right now. The reason some people can't stop watching you isn't because they admire you. It's because every win, every bold step, every authentic moment forces them to confront their own compromises. It's like standing before a mirror that refuses to soften the reflection. They see what they could have been. They see the dreams they abandoned. They see the courage they buried. Your authenticity is not an act of rebellion, it's an act of alignment. Heaven is raising you as a standard not to shame them, but to awaken them. And whether they respond with repentance or resentment is not your responsibility. Your role is to keep walking in truth. Imagine someone wearing a mask for years, so perfectly crafted that it became their second skin. Then one day, they stand next to someone who's mask-free. Suddenly, the mask feels heavy. It itches. It no longer fits. That's you, chosen one. Your freedom exposes their bondage. Your courage exposes their fear. And that exposure births obsession, because people are either drawn to the light or haunted by it. Don't dim it. Don't apologize for it. Don't shrink to make others comfortable. Your authenticity is part of the supernatural transfer happening in your life. As you walk in truth, heaven is positioning you to lead, to influence, to disrupt systems built on pretense. And those who can't face themselves will keep circling your light, unable to look away. Chosen one of the most unsettling things for your adversaries isn't just your rise, it's that they can't predict you anymore. When heaven begins to truly govern your steps, your movements stop being logical in earthly terms. You move with divine rhythm. You act from revelation, not reaction. And that makes you spiritually unpredictable, untouchable. They study your patterns, expecting you to repeat the same steps. But just when they think they've mapped you out, God shifts your path. You pivot, you rise. You step into new dimensions they didn't see coming. Your life becomes like wind. They can feel your impact, but they can't trace your direction. And that, anointed one, is why their obsession grows. Control is the oxygen of the insecure, but heaven has made you uncontainable. I've lived this. There were seasons where people assumed they knew my next move. They counted on my predictability, thinking I'd respond to betrayal with anger or setback with silence. But what they didn't know was that God had already whispered a new strategy into my spirit, and when I moved differently, their plans fell apart. Confusion overtook them. They couldn't handle what they couldn't control. Chosen one, your unpredictability is not chaos, it's divine strategy. Heaven uses it to dismantle the plans of those who plot in darkness. While they're busy rehearsing how to trip you on step 3, God has already taken you to step 10. That's why they're always one step behind, always chasing shadows, always speculating. They build entire narratives trying to pin you down, but every time they reach, you slip through like smoke between their fingers. Imagine a chess player sitting confidently across the board, convinced they know every move you'll make. They've studied your past games, memorized your strategies. Then suddenly, you play a move they didn't anticipate, not because you changed randomly, but because you're being guided by a higher hand. Their smirk fades, their certainty collapses. That's what's happening in the spirit realm concerning you right now. They can't manipulate what they can't predict. They can't sabotage what they can't map. And they can't control what's under divine direction. Your unpredictability is proof that heaven has taken over the script. You no longer dance to their tune, you move to the heartbeat of God. Anointed one, understand this. Predictability breeds control, but divine unpredictability breeds fear in the camp of the enemy. This is why some people suddenly grow anxious around you. They can't read you anymore. You've shifted from being influenced to being the influencer. They no longer hold the pen God does, and every move you make under His guidance confuses the schemes designed against you. I want you to take this to heart. Stop over-explaining your decisions to those who aren't meant to understand them. Some of the strategic shifts heaven is making in your life aren't meant to be explained, they're meant to be revealed in divine timing. Let them speculate, let them talk. Your next chapter isn't a discussion, it's a manifestation. Chosen one, walk boldly in that mystery. Let your unpredictability unsettle the systems that tried to box you in. You're not being flaky, you're being led. And those who tried to calculate your downfall will find themselves lost in the fog of their own expectation. Chosen one of the greatest proofs of divine favor on your life is that every time they expected you to fall, you rose again stronger, sharper, and more radiant than before. Your resilience isn't just survival, it's prophetic evidence that heaven has marked you. What they called your ending was simply God preparing your next elevation. They watched storms rage against you, believing this would finally be the blow that breaks you. They whispered, "This time they won't recover." But what they didn't understand is that resilience is part of your spiritual DNA. You are built on a foundation that doesn't crack under pressure. Like a house rooted on rock, the winds came, the rains fell, but you remained. You didn't just survive the fire, you emerged refined. I remember a season where everything collapsed at once. Relationships, finances, plans. It felt like my life was in ashes. People who once clapped in public disappeared in silence. Some even celebrated behind closed doors. But in those nights, heaven whispered, "This is not the end, this is the planting." And chosen one, just like a seed buried in darkness, I began to grow in places no one could see. When the light hit again, I didn't just return, I rose with fruit. That's your story too. Every setback has been a setup, every fall has been divine training. While others see collapse, heaven sees construction. Every season of breaking has expanded your capacity to carry glory. That's why their obsession is intensifying, because they watched what should have ended. You become the very catalyst for your rising. Imagine watching a house burn, convinced the fire would leave nothing but rubble. But when the smoke clears, the foundation stands firmer than ever. Then, brick by brick, a new structure rises taller, stronger, more radiant. That's you. Every trial became a testimony. Every scar became a prophetic mark of survival. Anointed one, your resilience unnerves those who live by fear. They built their lives on avoiding pain, avoiding risk, avoiding the unknown. But you faced the storm head on. And when the waves tried to drown you, heaven lifted you. Your rise dismantles their excuses. It reveals their fear for what it is, a self-imposed prison. They can't comprehend how you can smile after betrayal, how you can build again after loss, how you can sing after nights of weeping. What they don't realize is that you don't stand by your own strength. You stand because heaven has sustained you. That's why every comeback of yours is louder than their schemes. Chosen one, never underestimate the prophetic weight of your resilience. You are not just bouncing back, you are ascending. Each rise is a divine announcement that no weapon formed against you can prosper. Every time you stand up, you declare to both heaven and hell, I am still here, I am still chosen, I am still rising. And that declaration shakes the atmosphere. It unsettles those who plotted in secret, because if their worst couldn't break you, nothing will. So keep rising, keep showing the world what divine endurance looks like. Your resilience is not weakness, it's a weapon. It's the evidence that you are walking in divine alignment, and no storm can rewrite the destiny heaven has authored over your life. Chosen one, when heaven elevates you, your very greatness becomes a prophetic mirror, and not everyone can handle what it reflects. Your winds don't just shine for you, they expose the shadows others have chosen to live in. Every step you take forward highlights the steps they refuse to take. Every dream you chase is a reminder of the ones they buried. And instead of facing their reflection with humility, many twist that discomfort into obsession. There will always be those who study your rise not out of admiration, but because your courage forces them to confront their complacency. They say, why them and not me? But deep down, they know the truth. You walked through doors they refused to open. You trusted where they hesitated. You kept building when they gave up. And now, your very existence shines a light on what their fear cost them. I've seen it. People who once dismissed the vision suddenly circle back, unable to look away. Not because they support you, but because your story awakens something they tried to bury. Your boldness has turned their comfort into chains. The more you flourish, the more they feel the weight of what they didn't pursue. And instead of taking responsibility, they fix their gaze on you. Anointed one, your greatness is not accidental, it's heaven's orchestration. When God breathes on a life, mediocrity cannot survive. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to disrupt, to awaken, to remind a sleeping world of what divine courage looks like. Your rise is heaven's sermon to the fearful. This is what obedience and boldness can do. Think of it like this. A crowd once mocked the student who stayed late after class, putting in quiet work, sowing seeds when no one noticed. Years later, that same crowd sits in the audience, watching that same student on the stage, crowned with honors. Their applause is forced, their smiles tight, because the stage lights don't just illuminate your victory, they expose their wasted time. Chosen one, don't let their bitterness weigh you down. Their obsession is not your problem, it's their mirror. Your courage has become their unignorable truth. You are living evidence that fear was never a wall, only a door they refused to walk through. And heaven is using your story as a divine blueprint for others who are still watching from the sideline. While they chased trends, you built vision. While they copied others, you created something heaven breathed. While they waited for permission, you moved in divine timing. And now, Your originality is echoing through spaces they never had the courage to enter. That's why they can't look away. Your existence convicts the spirit of imitation and awakens dormant callings. Chosen one, understand this clearly. Your light will always agitate darkness. Your obedience will always confront complacency. And your greatness will always reveal the gap between fear and faith. But none of this should cause you to shrink. You were born to carry this mantle. You were prepared for this spotlight. Heaven trusted you to shine, not to apologize. So keep building, keep walking boldly, keep carrying the torch that others buried. Their whispers, their stares, their late-night curiosity, all of it is proof that heaven's mark on you is undeniable. The divine promotion over your life isn't coming. It's already unfolding, and those who once underestimated you will keep watching, unable to escape the testimony your life has become. Chosen one, this is your Kairos moment, your appointed time. Heaven's wealth transfer, spiritual elevation, and supernatural favor are in motion. Walk in it with holy confidence. You are not here by accident. You are the living signpost of what happens when faith outruns fear. Chosen one, this moment is not a coincidence. It is a divine appointment. Heaven has aligned your steps to stand here, right now, in the fullness of your Kairos moment. Every battle you endured, every silent tear, every step of faith has brought you to this threshold. You are not standing at the edge of possibility. You are standing in the center of divine fulfillment. The supernatural transfer is already in motion. Heaven has taken notice of your obedience, your resilience, your unwavering heart. What once felt hidden is being revealed. What was delayed is being accelerated. You are stepping into a season where your presence itself will testify of God's glory. This is not the time to shrink back. It is the time to rise with holy confidence, knowing you have been chosen for such a time as this. Anointed one, may blessings overflow over every area of your life, favor upon your hands, clarity in your mind, strength in your spirit, and abundance in your path. May the winds of divine promotion carry you to places your enemies never imagined you'd stand. Stay aligned, stay faithful, keep your heart soft, your vision fixed, and your spirit tuned to the rhythm of heaven. And as this word has stirred your spirit, declare it in faith. Leave a sacred 77 in the comments as a sign of agreement with what heaven is doing in your life. This is your moment. Walk boldly. Shine unapologetically. The world is watching, but heaven is moving.